Hi guys, this is Damaris and I'm gonna do a deck profile for my Nectar Ahsha deck. I'll be running you through the deck. I hope you excuse me, but one of my cards has not arrived, all copies of it, so there's proxy in there, but the core of the deck is completely here, so I'll be running you through it. So let's start. I'm running 3 copies of the starter G-Stride. This is from my extra deck. This is Flower Princess of Spring Arborea. She has the stride ability that if she hits, I can choose one of my rear guards and search my deck for a card with the same card name and put it into play into one of my rear guard circles, and it gets plus 2000. Which is pretty generic for New Nectar. I have 1 copy of the Cray Elemental Blizza. You Counter Blast 1 and G Blast any extra deck G unit. And if you have, paid the cost, he gets plus 5000 for every copy G unit that you have face up in your extra deck of any card, as long as they're face up. The main G unit for my deck is Sacred Tree Dragon Jingle Flower Dragon. He has this stride ability once per turn that you have to flip up another Jingle Flower Dragon from the extra deck to activate. And if you have 2 face up cards in your G extra deck in the G zone, you can give one of your units the continuous ability that makes all your units get plus 2000 for each copy that has that card name. So if you target one of your rear guards and you have 3 copies of it, all your cards gets plus 6000. If you have 5 copies of it, of that name, you get plus 10,000, which is possible with Neo Nectar. I'll show you in a little bit why. Gonna run 4 of those. I'm planning on removing 1 Arborea and getting 1 Primavera. That lets me Counter Blast, and it's Counter Blast 3 if I'm not mistaken, and it lets me clone units without having to hit. Let's go to the trees. My avatar and main great tree is Ahsha herself, Frankless Flower Maiden Ahsha. She has a Generation Break 2 that gives any unit in play plus 5000 as long as there's another card in play in your zone with the same name. So if you have another Ahsha, she gets plus 5000. If you have 2 rear guards with the same name, they each get plus 5000. She also has the auto ability when she gets stride on top of her. You can Counter Blast 1 and choose any of your rear guards. Search your deck for a copy with the same name, put it into play, and gets plus 2000. The other great tree I'm running is the Seeker Maiden of the Rambling Rose. I'm not running Maiden of the Trailing Rose, but I might in the future. Right now I just have 4 copies of this to Pseudo Legion. Activate the effect, put 4 triggers or 4 cards, mostly triggers, into the deck, and it fizzles from that point onward because her partner is not here. But she's mainly, if the deck runs fine, Stride Faller, but might as well have a Stride Faller that has a use. Then we're gonna go to the grade 2s. I run 4 copies of my main push Maiden of Gladius. She's a Generation Break 1 that when she gets boosted, you pay Counterblast 1. And you can choose one of your rear guards that is not her and clone it. Let's go for push. This one is a support for Ahsha. This one, I'm running 4, but I might run down to 3 and add the Legion at some point. And her ability is also Generation Break 1. She has to Counterblast and Soul Blast 1. When she comes into play, you can you can Soul Blast and Counterblast 1 to choose one of your ring guards and search your deck for a card with that name, put it into play, and it gets plus 2,000. But it requires Rankless to be in play as a Vanguard for this card's effect to be activated. She's an Ahsha support. First of a few. The other last grade 2 is the all-purpose Maiden of Flower screen. Once per turn, you can, if you have Generation Break 1, you can put one non-trigger card from your graveyard to your deck and shuffle it, and she will take the name of any other card you have in play. So you can have 2 Ahshas, or you can have 5 Pias in play for Jingle and other effects. So she is really good if you're not pushing with Gladiolus. Now I'm gonna go to the great ones. I run 4 perfect guards. This is just a starter deck one. I am looking for 4 Maiden of Passion Flower. The difference is that Maiden of Passion Flower actually, if you already have one in the graveyard, when she goes to the graveyard from being used as a perfect guard, you get to unflip 1 damage, so you can counterblast more. So I need 4 of those. For now, I have 4 100% orange, which is just a generic perfect guard. The next great one is the main great one, which is also another rankless support. It's early Flowering Maiden Pia. She, once per turn, if you have Generation Break 1, can put 2 non-trigger cards from the graveyard to the deck and shuffle it, and you get plus 3,000 power to up to 4 copies of one name you have in play. So if you have 3 Pias, you can choose Pia, and all 3 of them get plus 3,000. And if you activate all 3, you get plus 9,000. And if you have a Flower Maiden, a Flower Screen, and it takes the name of Pia, she also gets it. Or if you have 4 Pias, it's all up to 4 with the same name. It's a little less than Jingle, but since you can stack it, it actually gets, it could get to up to 12k if you have 4 Pias in play and you can pay all 4. So just really good. The other great one is also rankless support. It's the Stride, that she can be discarded and counts as a grade 3 for discard for striding. And she also has the ability, if you put her into play, you can, into a rearguard circle, you can show a grade 3 from your hand and search your deck for rankless, in other words an Ahsha, and then discard 1 card from your hand. That way you can have Ahsha if you get any of the other grade 3s. Now we're gonna go to the grade 0s, which is the starter, my Forerunner. She has the grade Generation Break 1 ability that I pay Counterblast 1 and put into a soul, and I can search my deck for a grade 2 or less rearguard that I already have in play with the same name and put it into play. Then I shuffle my deck. I run 2 copies of her, 1 in the deck, because that means that basically I have 5 slots of Pias, well 6 slots of Pias, 6 slots of Gladiolus, 6 slots of Flower Maidens, since these 2 can search any of those, which are really good. And then there are the triggers. I have 4 stand triggers, 8 criticals, 4 heals. My stand trigger is the Maiden of Daybreak. She also has Generation Break 1. When she's put into play, you can put her on the top of the deck and shuffle and choose a name of any of your units, and 2 copies with that name get plus 5,000. So she basically gives plus 10,000 divided between 2 units, and it's really good when you have a couple of these in your hand and you don't need to block or anything. You put them back into the deck and you get more stand chances. It's really reusable, and stand works really good in this deck. Then I have 4 generic Nectar Fairy Light Dragon heal triggers, and there's no other option basically right now, so that's just that. I have 4 generic Maiden of the Formica critical triggers, good blockers, or critical triggers that have nothing else. And the last one is also a rankless support, which is another critical trigger that while in play, in a rearguard circle, you can, when Ahsha attacks as a vanguard, she can be placed into the soul. You draw a card and Ahsha gets plus 5,000. Since it requires to be the vanguard attacking, it only works for Ahsha herself. So it's just a nice little 5,000 boost to Ahsha, plus a draw card without any discards or any counterblast, which is quite nice in case you get these into your hand at some point. And that's it. That's the deck. I hope you like it. I really enjoy this deck. It's really combo based, making really high 55 to 80k lanes, and just swapping with it and attempting to get stand triggers so you can swat again, and using the Gladiolus to clone in the middle of combat just so you can get extra attacks too. So basically with Jingle you get plus 20k. If you make the perfect field, you get plus 20k on Pias, and if you can pay all Pias, you get plus 12k on all 4. So you can actually make the 2 side lanes with a Maiden of Flower in play, plus 12k in each top and down, so that's plus 24 and plus 20, that's plus 44, plus the 14 base, so that's 58. So you can get 58k lanes on the sides, or you could get a nice boosted 80k Blissa in the middle also. So yeah, pretty much that's the deck. Hope you enjoy it, and if you have any suggestions, any comments, anything you would like to add to my deck, or anything you think I have too much of, like the Salianas, I'm planning to remove one of her and one of the legions to add 2 more, to add 2 of her mate, which is also a grade 3. Then I will have to remove something else in the deck, probably one of the grade 0s that's in the deck, to add another one, but I still don't know if I'll do that. So any comments, leave them below. Hope you had a good one and have fun.